Immigration is dominating the conversation on Capitol Hill, but Congress is also dealing with other issues like infrastructure. Collapsing roads and bridges, unsafe drinking water, and rundown schools are all problems that both parties say we need to fix. But like many problems facing Republicans and Democrats, they usually don't agree on the solution. Now, conservatives and liberals have reached common ground on an infrastructure bill that would invest in America's poorest communities. Democratic Congressman Lacy of Missouri and Republican Congressman Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania. Nice to have you both. Very rarely does a liberal member of Congress and a conservative member of Congress sit down and come up with bills together effectively. What made this work this time?
Well, I think for Lacy and I, we both understand that there's so many underserved communities. While the economic atmosphere, environment has changed, it hasn't changed for everybody in the same way. And we're looking at the inner cities right now. We're saying, why don't we find a way to fund infrastructure projects and also reduce the debt that take the burden off the American taxpayer, but do the right things for the right reasons? And good things are happening.
And when you think about it, we've been talking about infrastructure for almost 2 years. We think that this legislation will help kickstart that discussion, that debate, and it will give us some substance to work around. And when you think about the inner cities throughout this country, they have been hollowed out. There has been a lack of investment. All of my life in St. Louis, for instance, we have seen services withdrawn from those areas, the city not supporting infrastructure, and neither in the state either supporting an infusion of economics. And we think that this legislation will give us an opportunity to provide employment opportunities for a impoverished communities around this nation.
How does it work?
Well, we're looking at underperforming assets, and we're saying, look, we have a lot of things on the books right now. In fact, it's about $2 trillion that the Treasury is holding through the agriculture. These are underperforming notes, and we're saying, why
that means that people haven't been paying them back for at least 90 days.
They can't pay them back. And you know the other thing, so they're valued at a much higher than what they're actually worth on the market. And I think for most of us, we would look at any of our balance sheets and say, I have an asset, but it's not really worth what it's supposed to be, and it's just going to die there. So what we thought is, if you can take those underperforming notes, get them marked to market, where people then will take a look and they'll invest in those and they'll buy those. Now, it's not going to be at the price they're on the books at, but it's going to be real money that we can use for real things.
This is fiscally responsible.
Absolutely.
When you think about it. 50% going to pay down the national debt and 50% going towards needed infrastructure improvements.
Do you think, because you guys are such polar opposites sort of politically, that that's going to encourage your colleagues on both sides of the aisle to say, well, if they've been able to figure it out, then we can come and support this bill realistically?
We would hope so. I mean, that's why I jumped at the opportunity when Mike brought it to me and others and said, look, this is a way to attract economic development to your communities who sorely need it. I had to go for it because it was in the best interest of the people that I serve, as well as the people that he served.
You know, it doesn't really matter that Lacy's in the Black Caucus and I'm in the Republican Study Committee, or that Ted Budd is part of the Freedom Caucus. What does matter is when Americans can look at their government and say, you know what, this is working because we have the right people at the right place and on the right issues, and they're working for us. This guy's easy to work with me, and we have good chemistry.
It's like a love connection here. I can't wait to see what else you guys work on.
Well, yeah, hey, listen, who knows? It can get really big. It can get really big.
Thank you for coming and talking to me.
Thanks, Soledad.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for what you're doing.
My
we appreciate
pleasure.
it.